Oh. Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to episode 14 of the channel. But guys, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Xavi. We're going to be talking about Barcelona, and we're going to be talking about the moment and the situation in which we're in. But guys, before we get started on the video, make sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the description. And guys, if you guys want to join in and give your thoughts, comments, reactions, just go over on my Twitter page at Kool-Aid Podcast, and then you'll be able to join. Well, guys, let me choose my co-hosts for tonight, both Alex and Alvaro. Guys, what's up?
Hey guys, what's up? How we doing, guys?
Okay, perfect. So to start off, the topic of the conversation is Barcelona in a bad run of form, or are they going through a footballing crisis? Now, this is an interesting discussion because there's a lot of different opinions. There's a lot of different talk regarding this Barcelona side. Are we doing poor? Is this something that, is going to be alleviated, or is Barcelona going to improve their form after the international break or in the games to come, pick up the results? Or is Barcelona in a footballing crisis, and we need to take a deep look into our results, into our play, into how we're building this team? And this is all following the poor results against Real Madrid, the loss, the poor performance, even though we did win against Real Sociedad. And then you also have to keep in mind the loss to Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League, and then the performance against Alaves, where we had another comeback victory. But guys, I pose to you this question: is Barcelona in a bad run of form or in a footballing crisis?
So I'll be straightforward. I think saying that we're in a footballing crisis would be excessive. I think that's definitely an over exaggeration. I think we were in a footballing crisis in 2020 when we lost 8-2 to Bayern. I would say we were in a footballing crisis up until 2021, until Xavi's appointment, where we were basically getting slapped around in La Liga by everyone. We hadn't been Madrid in I don't know how many games. That's when I say we were in a footballing crisis. Now, we won the league. We're still first place in our UCL group. Not that it's the hardest, but we're still in first place. And so I think we're just in a bad run of form, to sum it up. I think, again, calling it a footballing crisis is a little too much, because you gotta consider the facts, right? You lost a couple games you shouldn't, and that's mainly the Shakhtar Donetsk game. It's only been really one game that we shouldn't have lost, right? I mean, I think the team is a genuine, on their day, they're a genuine contender for one of the best teams in Europe. But, we really shouldn't have lost against Shakhtar Donetsk. But listen, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think two major things are happening to the team right now. The first thing, which is I think the most important one, a lot of players are having mediocre performances as of late. At the end of the day, football is a collective sport. If you have one player that's playing bad, okay, you can deal with it. But if you're having 4 or 5 players that aren't doing anything, and this mainly goes out to the midfield, because the defense can only do so much, right? If your midfield isn't doing anything, if your midfield isn't doing what Barca's midfield does, creating chances, retaining possession, then what the fuck are you doing? I'm sorry for the curse, but what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
And you look at the goal that I believe it was the one that Shakhtar Donetsk scored. We got this possession in the midfield.
Yeah. And then what's it called? They gave us a counter. They opened out wide, and then it was a cross, and
Right.
it was basically a header.
And the goal. No, I'm so sorry. The goal against Alaves was the one that really bothered me. We got this possession.
Oh, no,
we got the ball.
Yeah, but that was like 10 seconds in.
Right, but that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't think in the match you can't be doing that. And it's kind of hypocritical. Gundogan talking about all he was saying the other week, and now he's the one that gives it away. Listen, I don't care. And I know I'm kind of ranting right now, but it's just I think a lot of things are wrong with the team right now. I think the main thing is, of course, players underperforming, and the second thing, as much as we don't want to blame it, injuries have been a factor. You have players coming back; they're going to be a little rusty. They're not going to be right. Of course, they're training. Of course, they're getting all this play time, but when you've been out for a little bit, you're getting back into the flow of things. And I think generally I think the team that we have now is a little different from the team we had last season, especially in that midfield area and that attack area, right? We no longer have Dembele.
Okay.
Rafinha barely gets minutes. You have young players like Yamal that are getting a lot of minutes. You have players like Ferran Torres who are also getting a lot more minutes. You have Joao Felix, of course, is getting a lot more minutes. He's our starting left winger now. And our midfield, I feel like, they're just having a bad run of games. Pedri hasn't been all that. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I think he's played okay. Gavi's been all right too. Gundogan, not so much. It's just, I think, for the team that we're supposed to have and for what we're supposed to be doing, um, I think there should be, again, for the players we have, I think we should be doing a lot better.
Okay,
But it's not
okay,
a footballing crisis.
okay. So you say, like, for example, right after the international break, we're gonna start picking up results again. Once
Oh yeah,
Frankie De
for
Jong
sure,
gets back,
for sure,
once Pedri.
for sure.
Okay,
Look,
okay.
we're forgetting.
No, no, no. Here's where I disagree with you. I could say yes. For example, like these players are underperforming, but I
Also,
would say
our attack has been bad as well, I would say.
our attack has been bad, but I would say we're in a footballing crisis. And why do I say that? Is because this is not just like this one game against Alaves, this one game against Shakhtar Donetsk where we played
Yes, it's been
atrociously
coming
back,
all season.
or against Real Sociedad. It's been coming. These performances have been coming, and when you look even at to last season, Barcelona, guys, I'm gonna pull this article up, but I just want to throw some numbers at you. When you look at this right here, Barcelona, over the course of the 38 games that we played last year in the league, we only scored 70 goals. That's less than 2 per game. But the good thing is that we only conceded a record-breaking 20, and what's it called, holding 26 clean sheets. What's it called? That basically means that we won last season because of our defense. It wasn't our attacking play. Our attacking play hasn't been brilliant, for example. And it just shows this. Barcelona have won 12 games this season out of a possible 17. Two of these, possibly the best performance on the Xavi, were 5-0 wins. But I'm bringing up this article because not only is Barcelona, they struggling in their attack, Barcelona, they're going down early in almost, I would say in maybe, well, Barcelona, they've gone down behind in 6 of the possible 17 games so far this season. Barcelona is already starting in a bad run of form, and we also have to come back in
Mhm.
most of these games.
And
And
they're
this
not
is
Spurs, they're not the comeback kings.
they're not the comeback kings, but there's a stat that says like, hey, no other team in La Liga has scored as many goals in the last 15 minutes than Barcelona. And when I see that stat, that's not a particularly good stat because that
Yeah,
means that for example, you did not do your job in the past 75 minutes.
of actually
Um,
scoring the goals.
and yeah, exactly, of doing your job, and that's why you have to come back. And so I would say, yeah, Barcelona, they have been getting results, but the footballing, the performances haven't been there. They haven't been there, and so I would say we're in a footballing crisis because Barcelona, they're not playing football; they're just coasting through games. We're getting results, but it's not that we are improving because
Mm,
where do we want to be right now? We want to be in like the pinnacle of football. We want to be competing with the Manchester Cities, with the Bayern Munichs, with the Real Madrid for Champions Leagues. We want to be there. We don't want to be, for example, just passing, getting through the knockouts.
right.
And speaking about the knockouts, for example, Barcelona, they right now, I believe they're on 12 points. Hold on, let me pull this off.
No,
But Barcelona,
I think it's 9 points.
9 points. Yeah, 9 points because we lost. Okay, yeah. Look at this right now. Barcelona, they're tied with Porto right now. If, for example, we lose against Porto next week, and then and then Shakhtar, they win against Royal Antwerp, guys, that puts us in second place. No, I think that actually that puts us in third. I think that puts us in third. No, I think.
Well,
Well,
let's do the math real quick, right? Let's
no,
see,
no, no, no,
because
no,
you
because
got
I'm
you gotta
thinking.
consider goal
Yeah,
differential.
yeah, I'm thinking goal difference, but the goal difference between Shakhtar and us, because we won at the Camp Nou 2-1,
Yeah, it's
and then
huge.
we lost
Yeah.
away from home 1
Well,
0.
listen,
It's gonna be
listen.
like
So
relatively the same. So I don't know what thing, but Barcelona could be looking at that in third place in this group.
our goal,
Barcelona is
listen,
in third if we lose against Porto. And for
our goal.
example,
Yeah. So real quick, I just wanted to say before we move on, we're tied in goal difference with Porto, and we're tied with them in points as well. Now the good thing is Shakhtar Donetsk, even if they were to win and we were to lose, unless they completely outscore like 10 goals against, well,
no,
not 10, but if they
no,
score essentially like 7 goals, I think, against Antwerp, that's when they would actually pass us in goal points. But listen, I'll continue what you were saying. I'll say
no,
my.
no, 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 no. I what's it called? I'm not saying like, hey, like sack Xavi, like throw everything and start from scratch and everything. But I do have to say, guys, Barcelona is not playing well. We haven't been playing well since like last season. These performances, these results are coming, and it's not that, for example, we're getting outplayed by like Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or anything like that. Guys, we got outplayed by Shakhtar. We got outplayed by Alaves.
Aren't they
We
supposed to
at
be
home
fighting a
at
war? Aren't they supposed to be fighting a war against Russia? Like, are-
bro, these guys in the morning they're fighting a war,
they're
and
in the
then
front lines.
in the afternoon they're smoking Barca.
In the morning, they're
Um,
dropping tilted.
bro,
Well,
I'm just saying, like, hey, like I understand having that performance against Real Sociedad, but we're struggling against teams that Barcelona should be coasting and beating 5-4, 3-0. Like that's where the mindset comes. And then the issue with Xavi is, I don't know if Xavi, because he comes out in the press conference, he says like, "Yo, I like the reaction that Barcelona had after the game against Alaves, and I'm perfectly fine with you saying that." But guys, Barcelona, they were destroyed in that first half by Alaves. If Samu, if
yeah,
their
yeah, he
striker,
missed a bunch of sitters.
if he had a decent night in front of goal, we're down 4-0 by halftime.
Oh yeah, easily.
We're down 4-0 against Alaves at home.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's saying something. Um,
Look, all I'm gonna say is it's interesting because Alex brought up the injuries, and I know Elias, when you and me last spoke on the podcast, I mentioned that injuries shouldn't really be an excuse anymore because we've already been through that. It's just a bad form of football, and again, I blame tactics last time. It could just be the construction of the team, but yeah, we have inconsistencies due to injuries. But at the end of the day, you set a culture on a team, on how a team should be ran and how a team should play united, and their performances fluctuate like crazy. That they have one good night and they have something like Alaves. And I mean, yeah, okay, it's a win. You're still fighting for the title, but you're having very uncomfortable wins that at the end of the day, all they do is deteriorate the players physically.
yeah,
You
and
should not
comeback
be.
wins. Like for example,
You
like
should not be win exactly. You're playing your starters unnecessary minutes that should not that should not be playing against Alaves at home. You shouldn't have to play that hard to beat Alaves 2-1 at home.
yeah,
So I mean, I'm hoping that what is true, that after the international break we can get some more consistency. But we laughed at the use. For example, we laughed at the UCO group that we were matched in. We laughed at it, and now we're trying to make sure that we're able to get first place in it, because if not, we're gonna play
or
Bayern.
even qualify in the worst case scenario.
So
Yeah,
exactly, and because if we make it in second, we're not beating Bayern. So I mean,
yeah. Okay, but see, here's the thing. You guys say it's a bad run of form, and okay, I can buy you, for example,
no,
these
no, no, no. I
like
said
this
it could
past
be
week.
that. I said it could be that, but I could also say that is the a bad construction of the team.
Okay, bad construction. Do you mean the player acquisition? Do you mean
I
like
don't know, man. That
Xavi?
because look, here's the thing. I can't talk crap about the midfield when Pedri and Frankie have been out for a good amount of time. I can't talk shit about them. And
Okay, but yeah, but
and the
then
defense
when you look at that midfield, you still have Gundogan, you have Gavi, you have Fermin Lopez, you still have quality in that midfield.
Fermin Lopez, he's having a good year, but he's one of those players that you can't rely on yet. So you have Gavi, you have Gundogan. All right, Gundogan. I mean, he's done. I think Gundogan has done pretty all right for what we've expected. Gavi has excelled for the most part. Again, who do word?
Gundogan.
I said word deal.
Guardiola.
Order Romeo.
Or Romeo, yeah,
He has not. He has been underwhelming. So,
yeah,
but then on the defense has carried for the most part. I mean, they have kept the games close.
yeah,
The problem is the attack.
Yeah.
W-
And
w- w-
I
w-
wanna, yeah, go ahead.
No,
No,
Okay, no, okay, but last, just like quick on that point before you guys like go to something different. I would say this is not a bad run of form because Barcelona they've been poor for a while now. They haven't just been poor for this past week, and that's why I say it's not a bad run of form. It's a crisis because this team they can't play any football. Like we are getting results, but look at the game against Alaves. Is that a moment through like collective, like tactics? You see what Xavi is trying to implement with these players? Do you see tactics? Do you see patterns of play? Or where he said positional play, movements, certain areas in which players are supposed to take up? Do you see that? Or no, is a moment of individual brilliance from, Inigo Martinez getting that ball.
Mm.
to what's it called,
To Ferran.
to Ferran Torres to create the penalty which Lewandowski scores, or is a fantastic cross from Kunde into
Great header.
Lewandowski.
Great header by
Or
Lewandowski too.
exactly, great header from Lewandowski, fantastic individual moments of brilliance. And then when you see the game against Real Sociedad, once again, fantastic pass from Gundogan into Araujo, who has a fantastic header.
Mm.
You know, when you look at these goals, I don't think it's a matter of like, hey, Barcelona, we're seeing what Barcelona is working in the training ground, and that's being reflected on the pitch. No, that's not. I don't think that's the case. It's the case like, hey, these players are world class players. The squad that we have is fantastic, and they should be doing much better. And so their individual quality at times shines through, and that's what bails us out of games. But when you get into the big games, when you get into the top teams in La Liga, when we're going to be facing against Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Girona, or even Real Sociedad, who are doing fantastically well in La Liga, we're going to struggle. And are those individual moments of brilliance going to be enough to pull us through? And then we go into the Champions League. What's going to happen there? You know?
Well, I will say this. I think, yes, individual moments of brilliance have helped us this season, but I think what has hurt us more has been individual moments of just horrendous football. Excuse me. If we finish another 1 point in strength,
Yeah. Okay, so for
that's
example,
true.
so you guys, you know what that means? It means that we cannot fuck up against Porto. We can't
We
we
won't.
can't do that.
But listen, look, I'll
Are
say
you
this.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll be playing center back. We're good. No, but look, in all seriousness, I'll say this. So I think, yes, Barca have, now that I'm thinking it is, they have been playing bad for some time now. But look, I will not go ahead and blame Xavi off the bat. Not because I'm a fan of when he was a player and all that, no. But let's look at it objectively. I think it's been the players for the most part. I think people have been playing bad. Lewandowski has been playing like shit all season. He hasn't done anything. He's had a couple games where he's been good, but for the most part, he hasn't done anything. You look at the midfield, yes, we've had injuries, but it's been underwhelming. And this is Barcelona. Like, the team's got to play better. And I know damn well this team haven't changed tactics from last season. And last season we were great. Although, yes, we weren't scoring. I just think our attack is the next thing we got to improve on. We have Yamal, who's good, right? He's a good winger. But then you have Ferran Torres and Joao Felix. Joao Felix has been okay, but neither of them are world-class players. And you have Lewandowski, who's great, but he's an aging striker. Okay, you got to look to the future. We always said this. We always said Lewandowski was going to be a solution for a few years, and then you get rid of him because he's not 27. This guy's like 32?
No, he's I think he's turned 35. Yeah.
That was stupid. That's my point. He's 35. Yeah. I understand he's had great longevity, one of the best strikers of his generation, but come on now. We're noticing it for sure. And this team, what it lacks is also finishing. I feel like we get in front of goal a lot of times. We just don't finish properly. And I will say this. I think the driving factor for why we also have been playing bad has been the midfield. I'll say it again. Look against Madrid. Leaving Bellingham wide open to take that shot, even though, yes, it was a screamer, whatever, those don't usually go in. It doesn't matter. They gave him all the time in the world for him to set up and shoot. The midfield was horrible that game. We took advantage. Yes, Madrid were they were asleep and we were able to score that goal, but we should have won that game. We had so many chances, and Madrid didn't really have any chances until after the first goal and then after, right? So it goes to show, right? Like the team, yes, defensively, I don't even think it's the defense. I think, the defense can only do so much. The midfield isn't helping, and the attack isn't scoring goals. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to go ahead and blame Xavi. I'm going to say this, though.
But I would say at some fault is at Xavi's door.
But what do you want Xavi to do? He doesn't have. No. If he sits down, listen. If Lewandowski is playing bad, who's he going to put in? Ferran Torres.
No. But for example, like Ferran Torres, he's been playing much better than Lewandowski. That's the thing, though.
Yeah, but you're still You can but he's still getting minutes. He's still coming off the bench virtually every single game for someone. So he's still being able. Yes, he's not starting, but he's still being able. He's still being given the chance to make an impact, and he's still getting the minutes. And sometimes he does good. Sometimes it's like the Gattuso means. Sometimes maybe good. Sometimes maybe right. But it's true. And same with Joao Felix. At the beginning, he was great. Now he slowed down a little. It's okay. Like, what I'm saying is we need this midfield to come back to what it was. Because if you have a weak attack that's not going to really finish or create that many chances, spoon feed it to them. And we have the team to do it. If we have look,
But
listen,
No,
that's
but still, I think
that's a
that
look,
thinking is a little bit naive. That just saying
look.
like, hey, once Pedri, once Frankie De Jong, once all these players they get back, all the problems will be fixed.
I think
I don't
no, I
think
don't
so.
think all of
I think
No, wait, no. Here's the issue. What you're suggesting, Alex, is that we need to have a perfect midfield for the
that's
attack.
not what I'm suggesting.
Okay,
I'm suggesting two things.
okay,
One, the short term thing I'm
you're
suggesting is
saying that the midfield has to be in great shape to feed the attack. That should not. That's what I mean by bad construction of the team. That's what I mean by it. You should not have to. You should not have an offense like that. That stupid ass comment by Lewandowski early in the year saying, "I prefer playing with wingers and all that bullshit." You don't gotta worry about how your team is about how your formation should work for your team to excel. That there's no reason why you should be relying heavily on your midfield in order to
and
get the
then
ball
also,
quickly.
sorry to cut you off, Oliver, though, but I think that also comes like the player power in the squad. I don't know if Xavi can actually handle the personalities of these players with big egos.
I don't
For
know.
example, Koundé in the last game, he played center back, and the Rajo played out wide because Koundé at the start of the season he said, "Hey, I don't like playing as the right back." And what
But you know
happened?
what?
He got absolutely cooked by
But
Samu. Lewandowski, when he's having a shit
look,
game,
you know
you
what?
know,
I
Xavi,
respect
he doesn't
I,
sub him out.
I respect Conde saying I don't respect it, but I understand it because he came in as a center back. He's always been a center back. He's being put into a position that him as even physically he's not made to be one of those. Neither is Araujo, but Araujo has more experience than Conde. So putting that aside, Lewandowski is somebody that should not be complaining about how formation is made because in Bayern he was working differently like that he was working in Barcelona. So
yeah, but in Bayern he was also the team was run through him, right? Like
but
the whole
that
team
you should not be
was the
complaining
whole
about that. So
okay, no, but
my idea, my point is that midfield. That's what I'm saying. That is about construction of the team. The attack is it's very polarizing. You have Lamine Yamal, who he's come more back down to earth. He needs time to develop.
Yeah,
Joao Felix, like you and me talked about Elias the other day, he's come
yeah,
back down to earth. He needs to show
yeah,
up again.
yeah.
For Ferran Torres, so everybody has
listen,
come. Everybody
listen,
has come back down to their normal form.
okay,
Okay,
And
okay.
yeah, my point.
But
Bench
why is
Yamal,
that? Like,
bench
is that
Yamal.
because of like Xavi's tactics? Like, he's not getting through to the players? Because, for
I don't
example,
know if
these are
I don't know.
fantastic players.
I don't know if the players have. I don't know if the players were just hot at the moment or if it's about tactics. But that
No, because
January transfer window, to me, we talked about this months ago. That transfer window seemed like, oh, let's get reinforcements for depth. Now it's looking like let's get help.
no. See. But the thing is, like
They should have
Barcelona,
bought they should have bought Harry Kane. I'm so sorry. The best striker in the world.
Yeah, but
they
we
should
got
buy
we
Harry Kane.
got
The best striker in the world.
we can
How
afford him.
about
We can
you
afford him.
focusing on like
We can
actually?
afford him.
How about Kane actually focuses on winning a trophy? Because
We should
currently
have had,
Bayer Leverkusen is top of the Bundesliga.
we should have
Hey,
had to
Alex,
sell.
we're
Who's
We
got
not
the
should
gonna
have
have a
most
had to
goals in the
sell
conversation.
Camp.
Bundesliga? Now, who's got the most goals in the
We
Bundesliga?
should have. We would have
No.
had to sell Camp No in order to afford Kane, bro.
No, he would have been. I think no, actually that would have been next season. But what's it called? Alex, once again on Kane. First, let's actually have him win a trophy because if he goes to Bayern and in his first season Bayern end up trophyless, we're gonna have some serious discussions on Harry Kane. And like I want you to be leading that stream. To be like, hey guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Harry Kane
Wow.
masterclass of ghosting.
Her-
But
ghosting is crazy.
no,
Okay, but look,
no,
going back to the topic,
yeah.
I think in this January transfer window, for the love of God, get wingers, get proper wingers. I don't care who it is.
Okay. See that's where we're going. See, the thing with Barcelona is, I don't even think that we're gonna have the FFP to sign anyone. Right now, it's being reported that Vitor Roque is possibly not even coming in. Vitor Roque, the kid, our big money move signing that we did last summer, possibly not even coming in, and that's the number one priority that we need to have. Vitor Roque, a replacement for Lewandowski. Like Barca should not even be looking at anyone else other than bringing Vitor Roque. And currently, it's being reported that like, hey, we might not even be able to do that. And so, like, when you say construction of the team, I agree. This team needs multiple areas fixing: depth in the fullbacks, a world class DM, actual wingers. But the thing is, due to the limited financial restraints that this club has, we're doing the best we can. And going back to the topic, I think Xavi is the guy before the guy. I think he's the right card before the Pep. He took us out into I give extreme. I praise Xavi enormously for coming to Barcelona in such a tumultuous moment in our history and taking us to where we are now. I completely agree. But if we want to be in the elite, and that's where I'm talking about, in the elite, where the standards are higher, and the performances need to be there, I don't think that Xavi's the guy. I don't think that
Postacoglu's
Xavi's
the
the guy.
guy. Postacoglu.
uh,
And
okay, but guys, I want to know your guys' thoughts on this quote right here. This was Xavi after the match. Um, I have no doubt that the criticism from the press affects the team. It has happened to me as a player, and I see it now. An atmosphere of negativity is generated that harms us. Everything that is said affects the players. Now, guys, what do you
okay,
guys
then
make of that?
just
And
man up
continue.
and go with it.
And,
I'm
and
so sorry.
continuing, the team has some sort of tension on their minds that did not exist a month ago. We have to change our dynamic. Okay, and just like to those guys that are saying, "Hey, is Xavi going to be sacked?" If like some results happen, I don't think so. And this is Barca director Deco. Xavi has our total confidence, 200% guaranteed. I have no doubts that he's the best coach for Barca and for this project. Told Rack One, he accepted the challenge of coming at an important moment and is the perfect coach to rebuild. And guys, all of this was reported by Fabrizio Romano. So if you guys want to check out the quotes, go over there and check him out. Obviously, everyone knows who Fab is, but he's a famous sports journalist. But what do you guys make of that first quote? And if you guys want me to pull it up, I'll pull it up
Yeah,
right
the
here.
thing about affecting the players. Listen, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like I understand they're human, and of course, you don't have to be like a dick to the players, but man up, man. It's part of the game. It's part of life. You're always gonna have critics. People are always gonna doubt you. They're always gonna say you're not good enough. Just man up and do your job. Prove people wrong. I'm so sorry. Like that's such like a scapegoat saying, "Oh, the atmosphere negativity." Man up, dug it out. Like I'm so sorry. Like there's, it's so stupid to me. Like that's really your thing. The team's playing bad, and you guys are getting shitty performances, and you're like, well, the players are scared. Okay, you're
And
grown.
and,
You're grown ass men. It doesn't matter. This is your job. Like I understand it's
and
hard, and
no,
you're people too. But like,
and that's the thing. Like, for example, I understand if Lamine Yamal, if Fermin Lopez, if Mark Gu, if Balde, if these guys come and say, "Hey, this is negatively affected me," I understand that because these kids are young. These guys, it's different from playing in the Barcelona B stadium and then going to the Camp Nou or like the new stadium they're in. I think it's like the Montjuic, where like a stadium of 40,000 people, like millions of people just watching you on television. I completely understand that if Lamine Yamal, if all these players, they get spooked because they're young, they're inexperienced, and they need to do that. But for example, for Ter Stegen, for Xavi, for Gundogan, for Lewandowski, for guys who have basically won everything there is in club football, for these guys to be figures in the locker room and figures in general in football, this prince and this negativity, they should not be affecting you whatsoever. And basically, Simeone holds the same line of thought. And he was basically asked this question: what do you think about Xavi claiming that the criticism by the press is negatively affecting Barcelona players? Diego Simeone: if a professional footballer cannot live with criticism, then he shouldn't be a footballer. And I completely agree. You're playing for Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and the standards and the pressure to perform are enormous. Are enormous. If you want to succeed here, you have to know that, and you have to stick up with the criticism. And so, you know, I also have to say, Xavi as a man in this position, he's protected. You know, I you don't see that many people inside the club actually saying, let's kick Xavi out. Because most of the Barcelona fan base and the club, they respect him. They respect Xavi. They say he's a club legend. They want him to succeed, and so they're not gonna throw knives at him and say, "Hey, yo, get out of my club," you and swear him and everything. No, they're saying, "Hey, this squad needs to improve. We're not doing enough," and I don't understand why Xavi says, "Hey, let's deal with the criticism." I just that's not the mentality that a Barcelona coach should have,
yeah,
and especially Xavi.
yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly with Simeone on that. Like, you have a World Cup winner, someone who's won the UCL what 3 times, 2 times, whatever. Yeah, like 3 times I think.
Someone who's played in World Cup
Someone
finals, World Cup
who's won
semifinals.
Euros, who's won everything. He's won every single trophy there is to win. And you're talking about criticism as if he was exempt from that? No. No, like, and again, what you're saying is true. Yeah, if you're one of the young guys, that's fine. You're gonna be scared. I don't care. You
Yeah.
have all these other people that are there for guidance. You can't tell me Lewandowski's out here saying, "Oh, you're gonna criticize me, brother. You're 35 or however the fuck. I don't know how old he is. You're a grown ass man talking about, oh, it's affecting my negativity. Just man up, bro. It's
No.
everyone goes through it. Professionals, um, like normal, regular ass people, like us, like we get criticized by random people. We have haters too, not at that level, but everyone has it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a lot of haters, but
I got a lot of ops. I'm like,
He allows. I will thoughts on Xavi's quotes.
no, bro, I agree with Alex. I mean, I think it's again,
it's a little childish. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah. I don't got much to say about that. I think I summed it up pretty well. I mean,
Okay.
again, I don't care more when it comes to all this publicity and all these comments outside of the pitch. I don't give enough of a shit about it.
But you know what? I actually think
It's just really bad timing with everything that's going on with
yeah.
Barca. It's really bad timing. So
Honestly, if the press is and if what they're saying in the press is affecting you, honestly, don't even pay attention. Turn off and delete social media. Delete.
exactly.
I actually think that that's like the best way to like to what's it called, to perform.
someone on
Just
his on his level that has spent his entire life in the biggest stage in the world with Barca should not be bothered by that. But you can tell that he's feeling the heat. You
yeah,
can definitely tell because
yeah,
again, if his team was not performing so poorly,
yeah,
he wouldn't be bothered by this. But I mean,
mm,
he's still a young coach. Let's put it that way,
yeah,
and he is a
Yeah, he
young coach
doesn't have all
compared.
that experience.
yeah.
Exactly, he is a young
He's
coach.
in his yeah. He has
And
only
he's
two
not a
years of
young
like
coach.
top
He's not
level
a young coach
experience.
of a crappy team in Hungary. He's the coach of the
Barcelona.
of Barcelona. So,
No,
but again, he can just shut everybody up by improving the team's performance. I know
no,
it's way easier said than done, but
no.
You know, going back to Elias's point earlier, where he said Xavi is the guy before the guy. I think a lot of these players in this team are the guy before the guy.
Yeah,
I don't think it's
yeah,
necessarily the coaching because I think what Xavi is aiming for is manageable. But I think there's still a lot of players here that they're not winners. They're not winners, and it's not because they're not used to winning. I just think they lack the mentality. Um, one of those players I honestly think is Conde. I think
Kunde. Wow.
I don't think Conde is a winner, and I know this sounds whatever edgy or cringe, but I don't care. But I just don't see him like that. I think he's such like a oh if things don't go my way like fuck it type player. Um, same sometimes I feel the same way with Lewandowski, and he's won stuff, but
Yeah,
I just don't feel like he's hungry. I just feel like he's like I've already won the UCL, I've already won the Bundesliga a bunch of times. I'm just just here for the fun of it. I don't know, and I feel like it's also the lack of experience. So I think what Barca needs to look forward to right now is now that you're getting your players back, just try to get a few wins, make it to the group stages, and then we'll talk about bringing someone in. If we can, bro, we just kind of keep doing what they're doing and you know getting new players, new skilled players, and from La Masia.
I mean, guys, we are gonna have multiple videos, in the coming weeks and the coming months
And
talking
guys,
about Barcelona.
let's remember something. This team is in a financial crisis at the end of the day. It's
Yeah,
not like we can just say, okay, bye, terminate your contract, sell you to whoever, and just
no,
start buying a bunch. We can't do that.
no,
We're not Man City, we're not PSG, we're not
Chelsea.
Newcastle, Chelsea, right? We're United.
Yeah,
These things take time. And I do think we have most of the pieces. I think we're just missing a few key pieces that are gonna bring it together. For sure, firepower up top. For sure.
firepower. But
Yeah.
hopefully, the number one priority this season is to get Victor Roque in, and hopefully, he alleviates some problems up top. Having that clinical finisher. Hopefully, he can replace Lewandowski in that starting lineup, and hopefully, Joao Felix and Rafinha can basically come back. But guys, last question and last topic of the day. It might be out of topic, but where y'all from and what made you love Barca? So, guys, we're all based in Miami, but what made me love Barcelona is actually Messi, as you can see in the back. The Messi jersey right there, and then the other Messi jersey over there, right there. Messi was actually the first player watching the 2014 World Cup, and then just knowing Messi and everything got me into Barcelona, and that's when I became a Barcelona fan, watching the go. But if you guys want to answer the question, go ahead.
I think for me it was probably it might be out of time. Oh yeah,
No,
yes,
it's the same one. Yeah.
yeah. So I think for me it was probably well I we live in Miami. I grew up in Cuba. I was born and raised there, and I remember when I was a little kid, like I was able to watch some of the 2010 World Cup, and seeing all the Barca legends in that team, seeing players like Carles Puyol, Piqué, Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, like I feel like that's what started making me like Barca, and then I would obviously Messi too, but I don't know. I just saw all those players, and I guess that's what made me start liking Barca.
How about you, Alvaro?
Um. So yeah, also based in Miami. Um. Funny story. What maybe like Barca was because my grandpa used to work in Spain, and
Okay.
around that time it was the like Spain won the World Cup and all that. And during that time, the Spanish team was what like 98% Barca Madrid,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and especially the midfield was Barca.
is that team
So
better than 2022 Argentina?
No, guys, we're gonna have this discussion because I
all
brought this
right,
up with
all right.
Alvaro. I brought this up, guys. If Argentina win the next Copa Americas, we're gonna have an actual
Yeah, you and me
discussion
talked about
on
this.
what is the
Yeah,
greatest national team of all time.
Mm.
but yeah,
Greatest,
but going
because
back, yeah, like
the records, everything, Messi having the goal.
all right.
We're
If
gonna
I keep
have a
on interrupting,
discussion. We're gonna
I
have
keep
a
on
Mr.
discussion.
interrupting.
Yapper over here.
Who's a professional yapper?
But yeah, no, like like the midfield was Barca. My favorite player was David Villa. So I mean, I
Mm.
guess I just fell in love with the team with the Spanish team, and then I followed the players through Barca. So I guess that's where it started, and then obviously like Messi, like
Yeah.
whoever's a Barca fan is a Messi fan. So
Yeah, of course. Guys, we're all like relatively young, and so like most of us weren't able to watch, the
yeah, I just
Dino,
turned 15.
Rivaldos, and
Yeah.
everything. He just turned 15.
No, yeah, but what Elias is saying is true. We weren't able to get a lot of the early 2000s, late 90s,
Yeah,
Yeah,
stuff, so which was still great. I mean, we see the highlights, right?
yeah, we see the
Like,
highlights.
but it's not the same, of course.
No, no, definitely. But excuse me, I said thank you for popping up the question. But guys, that was it for the episode. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this conversation. Of course, we're gonna be back with more conversations. And guys, thank you guys all for watching and coming to support the channel. Also, guys, on Thursday, I believe, I'm gonna be making a watch along for the Argentina Uruguay game. So if you guys want to tune in for that, make sure. And guys, as always, follow us on all of our social media platforms. Everything's posted down below. And once again, thank you guys all for watching. And and these type of videos, I post it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to that, in podcast format, go make sure to tune in for that. But look at that. Look at that. I'm 17 years old right now. MSN is what made me love Barca.
That's
Bro,
valid.
bro,
That's valid.
that's valid. MSN is the greatest trio of all time. It's that simple. That trio absolutely dominated world football. And dang,
Mhm.
I
I
just
would,
I just can't forgive Neymar for breaking that up.
yeah.
Oh, what could have been? What
I don't
could have
know if
been
it's
so
I
longer?
don't know if it's the greatest trio of all time. I believe that belongs to Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, and Dejan Kulusevski. It's a joke, guys. It's a joke.
Hurricane, son, and who else?
And Kulusevski. I
That's
couldn't.
crazy.
Oh no, Deli Ali and Deli Ali.
That's
And
crazy.
Dele
You
Alli. Ah,
you
dang.
know.
So like each one can give you like a PhD masterclass in ghosting.
Yeah.
Um, but
No.
yeah, dude, I honestly felt the same thing
Yeah.
when I heard the Neymar news. Like when I saw that, here we go. No, actually, I don't even know if
I don't think
Fabrizio.
Fabrizio was doing it.
No,
I
Fabrizio.
remember I was in like what 8th grade when it happened. I was so
Bro,
mad that day. Like,
he's clouding you too.
I
Um,
oh my man. Side hard time Spurs fan over here.
No, yeah, but when Neymar left, bro, that on top of that, like, you know, Barcelona, they were playing in Miami, and I just left to go to the Camp Nou in Spain, and I saw that, I was like, no, and
Yeah.
then that just ruined it, and
That
Neymar
it's,
leaving just it hurt. It hurt.
Neymar leaving began the downfall of Barca.
Bro, I would say the downfall started even before that. I would say
No,
like
but
as soon as
at the same
Bartomeu.
time, no, at the same time, I can't even say that because we got 220 million for Neymar, right? Or some crazy amount of money like that.
No, no, we got 200 like 20 million. You know the money that we spent on
That's
Coutinho and the money we
Yeah,
spent on Dembele. But the downfall started as soon as Bartomeu came in, and that's when the downfall started. You know that treble, like what's it called?
yeah, the
A,
2015. I
I
think
think we
what
could have won the champ if
hey,
Neymar was
I
there.
will say this though. I will say this. Barca 2019, I think 2019 Messi is one of the best Messis I've ever seen.
I
Like
would even argue the most complete Messi
because
because
the
Messi,
carrying, he carried. Look at the
bro,
game. Look at the first leg against Liverpool.
bro. If you guys say that Mbappe carried PSG, I mean no, carried France in that
Look,
World Cup final, guys, Messi carried Barcelona that way in that
mhm.
fashion in every single game for the entirety of the season.
And I'll
That's how
always
clutch
remember.
Messi was.
I'll always remember that Dembele sitter.
Nah, bro. Like, no, no. You know what? I forgive him because he caused the penalty for Di Maria, in which Messi scored in the World Cup final. So
Oh
you know what?
brother.
You
Oh
know what,
brother.
Dembele, you're actually maybe you're a Barcelona legend in my book. You know, maybe you're a Barcelona, maybe you're a Barcelona legend in my book.
That's funny.
But guys, well, just finishing off. Thank you guys all for watching, and as always, guys.